and jelly stuffed French toast is this week's video. Join us to see how we make this happen even without eggs. Hi, welcome back to One Dish, Two Ways. I'm Sheila. My husband Joe is behind the camera, and we are a household that I eat primarily whole food plant-based to cure my migraines, which is working. And my husband eats a standard American diet, sometimes swayed more to the keto. And we figured there are several people out there who their households eat differently. And we wanted to show people how easy it actually is. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy, but there are ways that you can make things that share a lot of the ingredients. So this recipe is the genesis of two things. I took a vegan cooking class last weekend, and they made a stuffed French toast, but it was made with a vegan cream cheese and jelly and all that. And I was like, oh, I could make that differently. I could use tofu and, instead of the processed stuff. And I came home and I was telling Joe about it. All I said was stuffed French toast. And he said, oh, I just saw a video on that too. And they did it with peanut butter and jelly. And I was like, ooh, let's try to combine these two thoughts into one. So that's the genesis of this actual recipe. So let's go ahead and make Joe's stuff, and then we'll make mine. So Joe's, let's start with both the batters. Both batters have the same milk. I use this non-dairy, unsweetened vanilla milk. This is one of my favorites. No, we do not have a Trader Joe's anywhere near Central Illinois, but when I go to Trader Joe's up north, I try to pick up several because they're shelf stable. So, this is going to be used for my vanilla. Normally you would add vanilla extract, but I don't need that because of this milk. This is Joe's batter. It also has 2 eggs in it. Mine just has the milk in it. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cinnamon to each batter, because you got to have cinnamon French toast, and cinnamon and peanut butter and jelly still go very well together. So let's go ahead and mix those in. And then that will be our batters. You can add brown sugar if you wanted extra sweetness. I don't think we're going to need it in this case. In mine, you could add a flax egg if you wanted to. Again, I don't think I'm going to need it, or flour. So my bread is very dense compared to Joe's bread. So I don't think I'm going to need any of that. And this is not stirring up very. There we go. I was like, why is it not stirring up? Can you get me a fork, honey, for mine? I forgot to get that. The other thing is you can add a mixture of cinnamon and sugar after the toast comes off if you wanted the French toast. I've done that before too. So let me just mix mine up, and then we'll get our peanut butter mixture going. Okay, so for Joe's, I've got 1/4 a cup of smooth peanut butter and 1/4 a cup of red raspberry jelly. We're actually going to do this differently, and you can do it either way that you want, meaning we're going to use jelly for his and we're going to use berries for mine. But again, you could alternate that. So I'm just going to stir this up really good. So obviously you could spread one side of the bread with one and one side of the bread with other, but I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm making 3 French toast sandwiches, if you will, for each of us. Obviously, we're not going to eat 3 in one sitting. A little bit of meal prep here too. So I'm going to divide this mixture amongst Joe's, a third. And then just spread it out. I don't want it too thick, because I know when I took that cooking class, the girl I was with, we did fill them too much, and then the stuff was everywhere when we put them on the griddle. And I'm not saying I won't possibly do it here, but I think my ratios are a little bit better than I had the other day. So we're just going to mix this up. Because I was thinking too, if this was used for meal prep, this would be a great little portable. You heat it up in the air fryer or the oven, and then you could just carry it down the road as you're driving down the road or sitting at your desk. So, okay, so
it's probably be fun for kids too.
Oh, absolutely fun for kids. Agreed. So Joe's are stuffed and ready to go. So his is Texas toast. I didn't say that. Actual Texas toast. And then mine is a whole grain bread with no oil in it. So there's like 2 or 3 different flours in here and seeds and stuff like that. And what I've opted to use is the powdered peanut butter, just because I'm still trying to lose that weight. So it's most of it is defatted because it's taken all that stuff out of it. And you rehydrate it using oil, or not oil, water. So it's 2 tablespoons to 1.5 tablespoons of water. So in this case, I used 4 tablespoons. And so I need 3 tablespoons of the water to mix it up and rehydrate it. And I would, if you've never used powdered peanut butter before, play with it, because you might want it thicker or you might want it more runny, depending, like if you're making a dip for your Thai peanut rolls, then you might want it less, more runny so you can use it for dipping or for dressing. In this case, I don't really want that, so I'm just following their instructions. So it doesn't take long at all. It's portable. It's good to take camping, because all you'd have to do is just add the water. So let's do the same thing to my sandwiches. I'm just going to spread it a third, a third, a third. Just like that. Super easy. Yeah, get kids involved in this. Like I said, you could do a more savory, meaning like with a cream cheese mixture. You could do sweetened, you could combine dates with your tofu and make it that way. I mean, there's lots of different ways that you could do this. Okay, so I'm going to just spread it on here. And then I just took frozen berries. I had a bag with... Well, that was good. This is how it normally happens. My counter is clean. I swear, I sanitize the counters before I start any of this. But the berries is just from the frozen, and I just took them out of the bag and I put them in the microwave for 30 seconds just to get them, because they're going to defrost more once you get them on the griddle. And so I'm just going to put the berries on here, split them between the 2. They're going to get all gooey and delicious. So I'm excited about this. And like I said, I'm just excited to have a little meal prep done. So I'm always thinking about what would make it easier during the week. Because if you have things ready to go, no matter what eating plan you're on, then there's less chance you're going to stop at the store, stop at the gas station. There's more gas stations that have food now than ever. I know they just built one up the road from us. You can go in there and get all kinds of different things for breakfast or lunch. So to stop anybody from stopping, this is a great way to do it. So this is about 1/2 cup of berries that I'm just splitting between the 2 or the 3 sandwiches. Okay. And now let's put the lids on. Smoosh it down a little bit. Try to get your lids on the same way to match them up. And the griddle, I already had that heated up. And I'm going to put a little butter for Joe's. I won't need butter on mine. Let's get that spread out. And then I'm going to dip all the sandwiches. The reason I chose 3 was also because that's the size of my griddle, because I wanted to be able to do them all at the same time. So you're just going to take your sandwich. Another great thing to do with the kiddos. I'm leaving mine in there just a couple extra seconds because my bread is so dense. I want to make sure that I get that batter, to soften that bread up a little bit. Just like that. Okay. Number 2 for me. I guess I could have done more sandwiches the size of the griddle, but that's okay. If you have more batter, you could just make another sandwich. Okay. So there's mine. And since my hands are dirty, let's just go ahead and get Joe's in the making too. Okay. I'm going to have to sanitize all the counters again. Look at that. And the kids just love. I know our son, when he lived at home and he was littler, wanted to help. French toast was always a fun one to do together. And then French toast sandwiches. Oh, and here's another option, is if your kids are really young and it's just easier, once the sandwiches come off, you can cut them into strips and make French toast sticks out of it. Super easy. So yeah, maybe after we have dinner or breakfast, I might make a couple more sandwiches just to use up this batter. So they will take about 3 to 4 minutes on the first side, and then we will flip them, and they'll take 3 or 4 minutes on the other side. So I don't know if Joe will just like speed through this part or if he'll just stop the video and then come back. I don't know what he'll opt to do, but you can use tongs if you want. In this case, I don't think the tongs will work because it's a big sandwich. So I will be using my big spatula to flip them. But the other key is make sure your griddle, you heard the sizzle as I put them on there, not just the sizzle for the butter side, but the non-butter side. So if you're new to our channel, I try to eat as little oil and butter as I possibly can. Yes, there are vegan versions of those things, but because I'm still trying to lose this extra weight, I'm trying not to do that. Not every day is perfect, but that's the goal. So that's why there's no butter or oil on my side of the pan. So do you want to just come back when it's time to flip?
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll be back in about 3 minutes when it's time to flip and we can show you that. Okay, it's been about 4 minutes. Yes, I cleaned up the mess that I made. And it's time to flip these. So I kind of peeked a little. Let's do this one. I peeked a little bit just to see if it was starting to get brown on there, and it is. So it's time, and I can feel it through this that it's getting that crust on it that you're used to with French toast. So now it's just time to flip, and they will need another 4 minutes. But I will talk about some other options, because as I was cleaning up, I thought, because I'm always thinking about what other things can you do with it. So you could also, if your children, especially if your children liked it, you could do slices of banana and peanut butter. I think that's an Elvis thing. If you like sweet and savory together, you could do that banana and that peanut butter, and then those little bacon bits you could do. And then I don't know if you've ever heard of this sandwich. It's called a Monte Cristo, and it's a sandwich, and I think it's got ham and cheese in it. But then they basically have a batter like a French toast batter, and then they grill it like this. That's another option for you. So there's many ways, and you could set this up no different than a pancake bar. You wouldn't have to do it as sandwiches, but you could have a little for a French toast bar where you make a bunch of French toast, and you could have peanut butter people could put on it. You could have berries. So you could really adapt this to whatever the size of your crowd is. If you're meal prepping, if it's just a one day, this is a breakfast and that's what it is. So many different ways that you can do it, and ask your family what they like, what they would like to try out. And sometimes when you get them involved in that process, they're a lot more willing to try things once you're getting them involved in that grocery shopping, that grocery list. And we've taken to 2025 where our goal really is to eat out much less. We didn't eat out a ton, but sometimes it was that we didn't feel like doing nothing. Nobody wanted to cook or clean or whatever. So we just made it like we have like a little meeting, if you will, on Thursday nights when we're eating dinner, talking about what videos we want to make and what we need to grocery shop for. And I actually made a list of like the common things we buy so we don't forget anything at the store. But then Joe also made himself a list of, okay, these are chicken dishes and these are beef dishes, and wove those so then he can, if he's having I don't know what I want, and we've looked in the freezer. That's another thing I'm always doing. And that's probably my strength in this is I'll tell Joe, listen, you've got this, this, and this in the freezer, and it's ready to be used. And then he'll go and look at his list and go, okay, well, let's make this or let's do that. So and actually that has worked. We're 3 weeks into January, and we've only eaten out one time, and it was planned with friends. So it wasn't like it was, I don't feel like doing anything tonight, let's pick up pizza. So that has been super helpful, and we feel better. We've both lost a little bit of weight, and you just don't have that. Sometimes you go to bed with that stomach heavy, and then we don't sleep well, which then also obviously makes the next day hard because we have a dog and she likes to go for a walk every morning. So we can't sleep in. So that's what that is. So we'll come back. This is, you can see all the steam coming off of this, how well things are going, but they probably need a couple more minutes. And then when we come back, we'll show you how we're going to serve it. We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. So it's been about I probably talked for 2 minutes, so 3 minutes, so 5 minutes on this side. And these things are looking fantastic and they're ready. So actually, honey, you want to, actually get it. We're going to turn the griddle off. And then we're going to get these off and show you. Take one from the middle. So there's the front, or the one side. There's the other side. Look at that steam. Look at that. Okay, now Joe's. Let's take his from the middle. Same thing. And I actually did it to where they did not leak out everywhere. So that's fantastic. Let's get Joe some. He's got some sausages over here for himself. Okay. So we were both talking. I brought out the maple syrup, but we're not thinking we're going to need that. You could. The other thing you could do is you could, if you did the berries, you could cook the berries off and make a sauce that way. It just literally, you just put them on the skillet. I think I've showed you guys that before. Joe, he said he could just like drizzle the jelly on it, which was a great thought, but I finished the jelly as I was making this, so that wasn't going to work. But those are options for you. I know I'm not going to do the syrup because I think it'll be way too sweet. I think this is sweet enough. So actually, let's cut into this and show you the inside of it. So there's the inside of mine. Delicious, delicious. And then we'll show the inside of Joe's. You can use any bread. You want to use challah bread. You want to use sourdough bread. Joe, just for French toast, has always been a Texas toast guy. And I knew I needed to eat a whole grain bread. And so that's why I chose that. So there's Joe's. You see that? In the middle?
A little bit.
Is that better? Okay. So Joe, you want to come on in and give it a twirl? Give it a whirl. Oh. For me, this is the perfect amount of peanut butter to berries. And my bread is much thinner than Joe's, so I didn't need a lot. You like it?
It's like eating you really don't taste the cinnamon, but you almost are able to eat this like a sandwich.
Which is why I said it'd be portable for breakfast.
You would. And of course, the peanut butter and jelly's warm. It's not overly hot like it's burning you, but but it's got that oozy from kind of melting down into the bread and stuff.
It's good. Mine is good. I think you're just going to get it. It's going to be a different inside between the jelly and the berries. So you can do either one that you want, or maybe whatever supplies you have. Again, if you really liked bananas, we're in general not huge fans of cooked bananas. Bananas would go very well in here. Slice it and put it on there. So I can totally see that. So let us know in the comments, do you eat stuffed French toast? And if you do, are you going to go savory or are you going to go extra sweet? So thank you so much. If you like what you see, if you could like and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. And we hope you have a great week. See you next week.